Learning Outcomes Assessment Results of Key Stage 3 Learners in Mathematics, Basis for Enhanced Policy Assessment Guidelines and Development Plans by Laarni Granado, EPS in Mathematics, Jonalyn E. Perido, Master Teacher 2, Mendez Central Elementary School, Municipality of Mendez, Alma de Cosino, Master Teacher 1, Alfonso Integrated High School, Municipality of Alfonso. Assessment is an integral part of instruction as it determines whether or not the goals of education are being met. Assessment affects decision about grades, placement, advancement, instructional needs, curriculum, and in some cases, funding. Learning outcome assessment provides educators with a practical instrument to review and enhance the alignment between the planned, delivered, and experienced curriculum. Effective LOA processes help educators decide on the proper actions to take and the strategies to implement in order to ensure the continuous improvement of the learning experience and the attainment of the intended learning outcomes. The assessment of student learning outcomes is not only continuous improvement vehicle but also serve as a platform to evaluate whether students are achieving what is expected of them for the improvement of student learning. As DepEd pursues learning continuity, it is imperative for the school to take stock of assessment and grading practices that will most meaningfully support learner development and respond to varied contexts at this time of pandemic. This is according to DepEd Order No. 31, Series of 2020. Assessment is the process of measuring learners' progress in the attainment of learning standards and 21st century skills. The result of various assessments shall be used to quantify judgment on learners' academic performance in DepEd Order No. 55, Series 2016. Assessment tools should be selected carefully to collect data that represent student attainment level according to Keshavar's 2011, and assessment of student learning outcomes provide evidence-based feedback and guidance as to what changes are needed to enhance academic offerings from Baker et al. 2012. In this research, purposive sampling was used. Ask permission in conducting the research, ask informed consent of the participants, administered survey questionnaire to collect data. As for ethical issues, provide assurance to respondents' anonymity and confidentiality of data gathered. As for data analysis, mean percentage score was used in determining the level of mastery and learning outcome results of Key Stage 3 learners in mathematics. As for the findings, we have here the results of learning outcome assessment of Key Stage 3 in the 18 districts. Here is the table showing the results. We have 76.39 average and 7.75 standard deviation, which implies that the average LOA at Mathematics Key Stage 3 lies between 68.64 and 84.14 in the Division of Cavite. As for the findings for the schools that belong to the top 3 and bottom 3 in terms of mean percentage schools, we have here the top 3, Cavite Science Integrated School with 90 MPS and 8.3 SD, and Tagaytay City National High School Integrated Senior High School with 88 MPS and 4.77 SD with the level of mastery closely approaching mastery, and Pangil National High School with 85 MPS and SD of 4.77 with level of mastery moving towards mastery. As for the bottom 3, we have Ciudad Nuevo de Naik National High School, Ulat Integrated School, Teguanak National High School, all with the level of mastery moving towards mastery. As for the best practices of the upper 50% top performing schools, first we have giving of 5-item test per MELC. give 5-item teacher-made test, portfolio assessment, assessment checked by master teachers, clear instructions and use of rubrics. We have the implemented enhanced policy assessment guidelines and development plans, intervention activities for learners at risk per MELC including numeracy activity, the use of summative tests per MELC, enrichment for potential learners, performance assessment in collaboration with other learning areas, and immediate feedback or communication with learners, their performance after checking and kumustahan through FB Messenger and other platforms. As for the implications of this research, assessment should sum up a pupil's progress in order to inform students, parents, and teachers on what has been achieved as means of feedbacking and tracking children's progress and learning. Positive and supported feedback will be provided to assist them to improve their areas of challenge and provide them with additional learning support to improve learning performance. And teachers should also hold regular planning meetings at subject teacher and grade level and negotiate and agree upon due dates and deadlines. As for the conclusions, enhanced policy assessment guidelines. Assessment should be age-appropriate in both content and the method of data collection. It must be based upon clear learning intention and is appropriate to the learning task given by the teacher. It must also indicate strengths and identifies weaknesses, focusing on what a learner can or cannot do as a form of diagnosing learners' level of understanding the subject. For the recommendations, as to enhance policy assessment guidelines under the MELCP, the school teachers and administrators must be mindful that before students can learn, their well-being, engagement, and conditions for learning must also be addressed. And in order to do so, schools must also collect this data to inform how they should respond to the challenges raised by the COVID-19 pandemic. This way, status of students' learning could also be improved. Each school in each district in the Division of Cavite should reflect on how to take account of learning through meaningful formative and summative assessment practices during the COVID-19 pandemic. Project 555 intensified the use of 5-item tests per MELC. Extra tasks must be given to learners who failed to meet the level of mastery needed to meet the required raw score for mastery as a form of intervention. As to enhance policy assessment guidelines under DMCI 2020-00162, implementation of modified individual learners monitoring plan. As a development plan, creation of item bank focusing on MELC's and Bloom's taxonomy, development of modules intended for intervention, and creation of videos using mother tongue. Here are the references of this research.